say if you make the finals that you belong in the NCAA tournament as well? Would you even entertain that possibility of not winning the tournament?
We're going to win,
yeah.
But just like everything else, we're systematically going to try to do it one game at a time.
Right.
You know, I don't profess to understand everything that the committee looks at, but I think pre-New York, if you look at what they have stressed, we've done what they've asked us to do, in that, you know, our strength of schedule right now is number 10 in the country, and that's the things that we can control. With us, by design, we knew there'd be a little uncertainty with the new league, so we put together that schedule. You know, and then there's other stats that I rattled off over there in that corner before the last game still apply. You know, we have 5 wins against top 50 teams. We have 3 wins against top 10 teams, and so, excuse me. I think when you look at hopefully when they look at our body of work, regardless of what happens in New York, and we're going to New York to win. Let me just say that. We understand that if you win, it erases, you know, it doesn't have to be a conversation. You know, but I think if you look at the body of work, you know, hopefully we are very much in the conversation.
Having beaten DePaul twice, people say it's tough to beat a team 3 times, or you've already beaten them twice, so you're the better team. I mean, how do you? What's the approach you're taking?
It's tough to beat a team 3 times. You know, because I mean, if you look at, particularly from the first time, you know, this is, you talk about our season. I said last week, you know, it was almost like we have 3 different seasons. You know, the first time we had Josh here, and so we were doing things much differently than we're doing now. So this group, as we're playing now, has to come out and play well.
Is it, in terms of depth, to play 4 games in 4 days? Is this group equipped to? I mean, is it doable?
Yep.
How do you maintain their freshmen? Their freshmen is playing 4 consecutive games.
They're not going to be fresh, but neither is the opposition. You know, we talk about it a lot. You get to this time of year, everybody is tired. Everybody has nicks and bruises and bumps. No, everyone is playing hurt. It's different between hurt and injured. You know, everyone's hurt, and so that's consistent with the 9 other teams in the Big East and whoever else is going to be in the tournament. So, are they going to stay fresh? I don't think anyone is. You know, but you know, they have to be smart in the time that they have free, and we try to manage as much of that as we can with, you know, staying off your legs, and making sure you're eating right, getting your rest, because this time of year, you know, you're not fresh.
Talk about the management. Do you mandate a certain level of hydration, or do you just put it out there, you have to do this? How do you bring that about?
We don't necessarily say everybody has to drink X ounces, but we make sure, you know, between the practice time and the meals, which we control, that they get all they need.
John, having to play, you're probably not going to really realistically tip till 10 o'clock on Wednesday night. Having played a bunch of games that tipped at 9:15, are you comfortable doing that, or is it wearing thin for you having to play games at those hours?
Man, this time of year, we better be comfortable with everything. And like I said, as I told our guys, I mean, you get to this point of year, there are no surprises.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to be in any situation we haven't been in. Yeah. And so the tip time, it is what it is, man. That just means we get a few hours extra rest leading up to the game.
Even though there might be some tired legs, if you get past that first game, you'll in theory build up some momentum going into the second one. Is there some advantage to that having to play, whereas, you know, Creighton would be just sitting there waiting?
I honestly think that's one of those things that if you win, you say yes to it. If you lose, you say no. I've had success and not success in both situations. So I don't necessarily think one is more advantageous than the other.
How different do you think the atmosphere at Madison Square Garden is going to be with no Syracuse fans there, no UConn fans there, some of the fan bases that have really packed Madison Square Garden in the past few years?
I don't think the atmosphere is going to be different at all. I think the colors in the stands may be different, but that's about it.
Do you think it's a big learning curve for the teams who haven't played in the Garden for the Big East tournament?
Not really. I mean, I think personally, and you guys have heard me say this down through the years, playing there is special. I mean, it's different. The horn sounds different. The feel of the arena is different. It really is a special venue to play. But I mean, everyone has played. St. John's there. Maybe some guys played on campus. I'm not sure. Did they play every game there this year?
They haven't played every game there.
Okay, so some people may be there for the first time. So that may be, you know. But for the most part, you know, just I don't think it's just the excitement of what's now postseason excitement of playing in a tournament is going to be different for some teams.
Apparently, you guys really must have pissed the tournament off. So we did after
What happened?
scored 45 points.
Yeah, but he could have easily done that against us. The ball just didn't go in. For that kid to score 45, it's like you and me walking to the other end of the hallway. Right? I think he's the player of the year in the country. I've said it prior to our games against them. He can score efficiently and effectively from every spot on the court. And then you couple that with, I think I said it to you guys, he's the kind of kid, if he wasn't as good of an offensive player as he is, he still would get 8 to 12 points a game just on his hustle, just on his energy. If he was a bad offensive player, he still would be scoring that much just because he plays so hard. And you take that and couple that with the fact that every time he throws it up, no matter off balance or on balance, where it is, it's going in. That him scoring 45 is easy.
John, is there a different feeling for the guys this year, knowing that you have some work to do going into the tournament, whereas previous years may not have made that much of a difference? You're still in a separation.
No, but it does make a difference. I mean, we go up there to win. I mean, we go up to New York to win. And if you're playing for seeding or playing for a spot in, it's all important.
How should you play Creighton then, since you just played them? Does the game plan change much, or do you just go, hey, we just did this, there's no reason to give them a totally new look just because?
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And it's short enough notice that you can't write it. Hopefully your Twitter thumbs up that fast.
How do you feel about Georgetown consistently getting a first-team All-Big East performer? How proud are you for Markel to go from freshman all the way up to senior and first-team All-Big East?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that you feel honored that we've been acknowledged consistently by our peers, by the other schools that we've consistently have guys that merit that, and so you feel good for Markel, who I've said has worked as hard, if not harder than anyone that I've had here, and so for him to see some of the fruits of his labor. In that way, feels good. I mean, he'd much rather have 5 or 6 more wins than that honor, but at the same time, it feels good for him. And like I said, we've consistently had someone in there, so it's a good thing.
Every player has a different path through their time. Markel does something at a certain level, quintessential, but goes from not playing really as a freshman, showed some flashes as a sophomore, up a bigger role as a junior, and then this year takes another lead role. It seems like he's sort of progressed away.
The traditional progression. We all did. I think that in this day and age, a couple things happen. One, because of all the attention and the exposure that we get, and because of the 18 million different TV outlets that have to fill time, and because of the social media and the internet, that these kids are exposed to the public so much that you forget that they're kids, and you forget that they're going through growth and maturation process where you come in as, whatever, 15, 16, 17-year-old freshman that's think you know everything, to when you get to your senior, you realize you don't know anything as a senior. But I think one thing as the coach here, having coached the 5 seniors that we have, and talking to Markel, I think you asked about him. You guys about him and Nate, or just in particular, you feel comfortable that when it's time to push him out of the nest, that he's going to be ready to fly, and he's prepared. And from an intercollegiate perspective, it's a 4-year window, and so so Roy can end up playing with the Pacers for 15, 20 years, but here it's going to be there's a beginning and there's going to be an end, and so they're at the point now where hopefully they're going to be wearing that jersey for many more games. But you do see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so they're ready, I think. All of them are ready.
Your program has been branded Big Man U, rightfully so. But your last 3 first-team All-Big East guys have been guards. How satisfying is that for you?
No, that's incorrect because, well, I guess we can call Otto a guard. But I mean, I think it's been 3 and 4 years with Austin, Jason, and now Markel that the guard position has been recognized as first team. And so, you know, there's so many stereotypes that get thrown at this program. It's not worth fighting them. It's not. But I think if you look at how, I mean, like I said, we embrace big men. We're not running away from that by any stretch of the imagination. But I think our players here, depending on your skill set, get a chance whether you are a center, whether you're a forward, whether you're a guard. If you can do it, we're going to let you do it.
Should the tournament, Big East tournament, not go the way you want? Should the NCAA go a different path? Is there any reason you guys wouldn't go to the NIT?
I mean, what was my answer to your last question? Same.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.